wait.
I don't stifle speech.
Members of the committee, members of the council, we are always delighted to have former members of this body actually joining us, and we have two with us. Obviously, one is the criminal court clerk, Mr. Howard Gentry. Mr. Gentry, if you would introduce your compatriot to your right.
I will, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, and also members of the Budget and Finance Committee and members of the council. I'd like to introduce a former colleague of yours, and that's Tommy Bradley, our chief clerk. And Tommy is a mainstay in that office, and he really makes life a lot easier for me and many of our citizens of this city because of the great work he does. As a matter of fact, I would like to acknowledge all the employees of the criminal court clerk's office. When I moved in there a little over 2 years ago, I had no clue that I would be working with people that had the skills and the ability and the commitment and the passion to do their job in the manner they do. And I'm very proud to be a part of that office. And just to let you know some of the work that is being done this past year, they docketed almost 2,081 events.
Mr. Gentry, before you begin,
Oh,
let
yeah.
me ask my threshold
I forgot
question.
that, yes.
I mean, you forget from your time sitting up here.
That's
We always start with at least one question, and that is, can you operate within the mayor's proposed budget?
And I would love to answer that question. I will.
Okay, then now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I mentioned, they've docketed over 281,000 events, processed almost 97,000 warrants and citation, generated almost 155,000 subpoenas, processed almost 29,000 expungements, and that is an 18.5% increase over last year. And also last year was a huge increase over the year before. I know almost 3 years ago we were averaging about 9,000 expungements. We have a website that I think I mentioned last year, but I'm going to mention it again because I don't know that I did. We were recognized as one of the top 10 court websites by the Forum on Advancement of Court Technology. And in that, we have over 13 million page views on our website. And I would like to think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that it is structured in a way that is user-friendly, and I'd like to thank the group that folks that just reported before me, JIS, for being so supportive in helping us to have that type of website. And so we're excited about that. Also, over the last few years, we have really moved to the community as it relates to providing our services. You can come up on the second floor anytime between the hours of 8 and 4:30 and be served by our office. We have found out that many of the people that are circulating in our system cannot come out because they just don't know how to. They don't know what to do. And a lot of the things that go on are just a result of not knowing. So we have partnered with the Metropolitan Public School System and involved ourselves in a program entitled Bringing Justice to You. And it's an informational event, and it assists MNPS families with understanding and dealing with criminal court matters. And of course, most of it is centered around driver's license issues and expungements. We also go out, and when I say we, I'm talking about Tommy Bradley and one more employee, Dana, and myself, and we actually go to Goodwill once every other month now. We used to go once a month, but we've collaborated with other agencies now, and we go once every other month and do that same thing. And also, we go to churches and other organizations that have a population that needs our services, and we provide information. We're not lawyers, and we do not give legal information or legal help, but we provide the information that is provided through our office. We provide that information, and we are able to get the people into our office and handle their issues outside of the courtroom that we can handle. And I think that that has helped a lot in generating the revenue that we have generated, which is almost 11 million, which is a 16% increase in our total revenue. But also, I'm excited about our revenue increase for last year as it relates to Metro, because that revenue increase was almost $882,000. So we're real proud of that. We always find a way to come in under budget, and I don't want Charlie Tiger to get too excited about that, because there is a reason. And we do come in under budget, but we also are excited about the fact that we continue to generate revenue back to the city of Nashville and back to the government, which is very important because we can offer more services. So we're excited about that, and I say the word excited a lot of times because, until you go into a department and see what goes on in that department and become a part of it, you just really can't fathom or grasp what all takes place. And so it is an exciting time. It's unfortunate that the criminal justice system and the criminal court clerk office is still bubbling with business, but the fact is that that is the way it is, and we're attempting to provide that service that we provide at the highest and effective and efficient manner as possible. I'll entertain questions. Tommy and I both will.
Thank you. Let me begin with one. You say your net increase is 23,000, but is it not a little bit greater if you, obviously everyone had internal service fees reductions,
Well, yes.
and there are two improvements, right, in the computer programming area, and then you all are part of the increase to do with domestic violence, correct?
You want me to answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. The developer that is mentioned, that actually will be funded through funds out of our office. It is not part of the general fund monies. The criminal court clerk's office, through the court cost procedure and via the state legislature, is allowed to charge a technology fee. And once those funds are collected, those are held within the clerk's office to be used for any technology reasons that the courts deem necessary. So if that developer was to come on board via contract, those funds would come from those monies.
Okay.
And then domestic violence person.
Yeah, and how does that fit into the overall domestic violence improvement effort?
Okay. The way the General Sessions courts have designed their new court structure is there will basically be two full-time domestic violence courts running, one domestic violence court running all the time with two judges rotating those schedules. Currently, the way the system exists, the judges rotate from criminal dockets to civil dockets to traffic dockets. The way the structure is going to work is those domestic violence judges will not rotate to those civil and traffic dockets. They will simply be all criminal court related dockets. So our in-courtroom clerks who are assigned to those two judges will always be in the courtroom every day of the week, 8 to 5, running dockets. So they will not have time to prepare the next day's dockets, the next week's dockets. So this domestic violence person will basically be a one-person prep team for those two judges, keeping those dockets ready, getting the subpoenas out, getting the dockets prepared, taking care of all the notification issues, contacting attorneys, making sure everything's on notice. So that is the target, at least at this point, with the new docket structure for that domestic violence person.
Thank you. Councilman Claiborne.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think I understand your answer to my question here. I was looking, you're getting additional money for domestic violence, but in your impact, you indicate that the status quo would have a negative effect on the domestic violence docket.
It has a negative effect. It does not provide adequate funding to totally fund that position with benefits, but we'll work through that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The other question I had was just This is in the budget book, so I'm not sure if you have that.
Tommy has.
On page E24-6, I was looking at your total program revenue, and it's like a seesaw here. Back in 13, it was 42,000. Then in 13, it was 72.9, and then in 14, it was 55, and now it's proposed to go back up to 75. What is the reason for the fluctuation in your revenue there? I mean, you're coming up 20,000 over what you had this year. So what are those revenues? Why do they fluctuate like that?
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Those are just specific fees that we have no control over that are generated based on whatever court dispositions occur. So we have to project based on what we anticipate is going to be coming in. More comes in, more. It's really difficult to explain because all the monies that we receive, some comes to Metro, some goes to the state. So we have to basically look at what charges are coming in, the types of offenses that are coming in, the types of convictions, and based on what those charges and offenses and convictions are, it's based on what revenue may or may not be coming in. The other issue you need to be thinking about is we are required to, yes, assess fines and court costs on every single case where the court orders that. Just because it's assessed doesn't mean it's going to be paid. We have to hire collection agencies and do other aggressive efforts to try to collect that money. So it's just difficult to determine what may be coming in.
Okay, but as we just look at this page, you're projecting more cases that would generate more revenue for you in this coming year. Is that?
It's possible.
It's possible, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking back, we're looking at reality of what did happen, and in looking at the 15 number, we're just looking at what you think might happen. Is that a good assessment?
That is correct, and we were not armed years ago with the driver's license, the new driver's license bill, whereby if people do not pay their court, at first there was no legal recourse to a person not paying their court costs or their fees. So therefore, it just hung out there and collectors tried to collect, we tried to collect. Now, you've got the driver's license bill where if somebody doesn't pay their court costs or fees within 12 months, then their license get revoked and suspended. So we do have a little more, I guess if you want to call it ammunition, it kind of gives you I guess not a level of comfort, but at least it puts you at a certain level to feel that more fees might be paid as a result of that. It's a hard thing to estimate though, because you don't know who's getting arrested and what they're getting arrested for and what they're going to be charged.
Okay,
annually.
thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Tigert.
Are the fees you charge set by state statute?
Yes.
Okay. And I remember in previous years, you all had worked, or Tommy had worked on collection of some back owed fees and whatnot. Is that the driver's license situation that Howard just described, or was that something else?
Well, we've worked really aggressively with the city's contracted collection agent on older accounts. The driver's license law that you mentioned is for cases from date of arrest July 2011 forward.
Okay.
It's not retroactive.
So talk just briefly about the successes of collections and back fees and whatnot, and because it looks like your revenue is up.
Sure.
And while he's looking for those figures, you've probably heard us talk about the desire to have a stronger collection operation within our offices. We just haven't been able to get funded for that, but so we just have to put more emphasis on the external collection agency, which is working for us.
Sure.
I can just give you a little historical data if that'll be helpful. In 2004, our total revenue was $7.7 million. In 2007, it was $9.4 million. As Mr. Gentry said, this year is nearly $10.8 million in total revenue. We're on pace at this point to hit $12.6 million in total revenue. I do want to caution the council, though, when I say $12.6 million in total revenue, that is not all money that comes to Metro. Some of that money is forwarded to the state and other satellite cities based on who made the arrest, the charges, and the offenses. But the majority of it does stay within the city.
Councilwoman Gilmore.
Thank you, Chair Stein. I just wanted to compliment Mr. Gentry and Mr. Bradley. They are definitely out in the community. We appreciate you. Those expungements mean a lot. A lot of people take it for granted, but it really does help those people that are needing jobs and made some mistakes when they were younger in their career. And so I really appreciate you working with Goodwill and MPS, where you have a captive audience and you can help those people that have had a little bit of trouble with the law in the past. So thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you both for being with us, and we're delighted, Mr. Gentry, that you have such good assistants in the back of the room.
Yes.
Making sure
yes.
that you get where you belong.
Yeah, the little ones keep me going.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you all very
Thank you.
much. We'll reconvene tomorrow at 4.